What is up, everybody? It's your girl Jaded Reads here, aka Diamond, and I just want to come and introduce today's vlog, as I had not done that because I just didn't do it. Okay, so really quickly, we're going to be reading Cold Mountain by Charles Frazier, set in the rural antebellum South, right at the start and during the Civil War, and that's what this vlog is about. It's a long one, but it's a good one. All right, I just want to come and introduce myself and say, hey, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next upload. I hope you enjoy, and thank you guys for tuning in and being here with me. All right, so see you guys soon. Deuces. Because it is Friday, and yeah, I think that I can stick in a little bit more time for the vlog, because I'm used to just having an hour-long vlog now. I'm going to start and hopefully finish Cold Mountain in this vlog as well. So Cold Mountain is one of the books on my must-reads for the year, and I figure I can just go ahead and stick it in January, as it is a good atmospheric story set in the winter time, and I think it'll just be, you know, just something really great for me. And it's historical fiction, but also there's such a big romantic part about this book. The whole, even though they're not together, Edmund and Ada is what the story is about. They're not together, but he is on a journey to make his way back to her. So just in case you hadn't seen my 10 books I must read in 2024, I'll go ahead and talk about Cold Mountain for a little bit. So Cold Mountain is by Charles Frazier. It was published in 1997. Hold on, and this is a first edition copy that I got at a library sale for $1. They have annual library sales all throughout the US. And is this a first Anchor book as well? No, it's Atlantic Monthly Press. I think they're not open anymore. Yeah, this is a first edition copy. And yes, I was right. It was published in 1997. So this is the 1997 copy in beautiful, stunning condition. Once again, secondhand. So it's a story of Edmund and Ada. Edmund they're from the South, so it also is a little prehistoric type, I mean not prehistoric, but historical fiction situation where Edmund is going to be sent off. He is, what do you call it when the men are, have to join the army? He had to join the army and go off on the Civil War. And you know how the story goes, they think that they're going to come right back home, and they don't. And so he ends up falling in love with this girl, this quiet young girl who's the only child of a farmer. And yeah, he falls in love with her, and he tells her that he'll be right back, and he doesn't come right back. And so what it is about his journey and all the people that he meets on his way from the army, in which he goes AWOL to make his way back home to Ada. He wasn't letting anything stop him from making his way back home to Ada, and the story tells his journey. So it's like a rewriting of the Odyssey in a way, as those both are long journeys, and you know, Odysseus comes across so many different people in his path on his way home to his wife. And I'm excited to read. I'm going to start reading it tonight, actually. I'm going to start reading it at 8 o'clock. So yeah, I'm going to start reading this now. I think I did a good job of telling you what it was about without reading the dust jacket, but yeah, it's about his journey back to, yeah, absolutely, I did a good job. And the only reason why I know is because I have seen the movie, but I have been told on numerous occasions that the book is way better than the movie. And me personally, I loved the movie. So if I love the movie, and a lot of people didn't love that movie, I know I'm gonna love the book even more. So that's why I decided to go ahead and grab it, because I see it everywhere. And I want to just go ahead and grab it and get started on it this year. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read this, and I'll give you guys my first initial thoughts on it in the next clip. So yeah, also just quick reminder to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't, if you've gotten this far in the vlog. I know I talk a lot, but I have a wonderful personality, and I love making new friends, and you can be my friend if you just subscribe to my channel and like all of my videos and comment, so we can talk and chat. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next clip, okay? What is up, everybody? We are here for another day for, hold on. All right, there we go. Yeah, we're here for another day for the reading vlog. And honestly, I don't want to give an update because I know that y'all probably hear this music in the background. Just like the last time I was here, I had to cut a whole section out because the music was so loud playing that I couldn't keep what I wanted to talk about. So really quickly, we're reading Cold Mountain, of course, by Charles Frazier. This is supposed to be my initial rundown, or I want to give you guys an initial idea or a general consensus on what the book is about, but I just can't because of the music. Well, we're in transition, so all right, so the book is, the first thing I truly want to say before this music starts again is the book is really, really, really good. Like it's like I don't even have the words to describe the writing, except, what did I put? I think I wrote in here that the writing was mesmerizing. That's what I have. See that? The writing is mesmerizing. So the music has started again. So I'm just going to read. So it'll be a little montage, a little bit of me reading. And then when I leave here, I'll give you a breakdown of my initial thoughts on the book when we get in the car. Okay? All right. Oh, by the way, today is Saturday, January 20th.
Can you feel it, honey? Can you feel it, honey? Now you're way past that. All that bad, 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 bad. So bad, 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 bad. Can you see it, honey? Can you see it? See you past the trouble. Now you know the meaning of it all. It all. Didn't think it happened so soon, but that one afternoon you finally moved on. Letting go of all that he said and finally kept for yourself. You really moved on. And I feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. I feel it, I feel it. Ooh. It's gonna be the ending of all that's bad. From now on, let's just leave it all in the past and look how good we are. No more bleeding, can't you see you're healing? Hold on to the feeling, 'cause I know you're gonna get it right, 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 right. So right, 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 right. Didn't need it, now you didn't need it. Didn't even feel it, told me like 100 times out loud, 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 loud. Making me proud, 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 proud. 7 days a week, 7 days a week. You've been ill for too long. 7 days a week, 7 days a week. But now you moved on. And I feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. I feel it, I feel it. Ooh. It's gonna be the ending of all that's bad. From now on, let's just leave it all in the past and look how good we are.
Hey y'all. So we have actually made it back home. I am at the house. I've went grocery shopping after being at the cafe. and 2 grocery shopping stops. Well, really 3. I went to Whole Foods first to get more ingredients for more greens juice. Then I said I was going to go to Kroger just to get some ingredients for chili. Kroger didn't have any meat, like no type of meat, so I had to go back to Whole Foods to get the meat. And now I'm home. I'm catching my breath because I do live in a walk-up, and girl, it's just damn. I had a lot of groceries and I didn't want to make 2 stops, so that's why I'm catching my breath. So let me go ahead and put this down. I wanted to talk to you guys and give my initial thoughts on Cold Mountain. So I took the dust jacket off, and I want to say something about this book. First of all, look at the page. Let's look at the pages. Okay, let's just look. Let me show you something so you guys can get an idea of what I'm reading. Look at this. So although it's look, although it's only 356 pages, it's a very dense novel and it's a lot of words on the page. All right, let's go ahead and get our initial thoughts. So we do know that we're following the story of Edmund and Ada. Edmund is a Confederate soldier, and Ada is a Southern belle. A couple of things about Edmund. I don't know that much about him just yet. I've only just made it to chapter 3 on page 54. And that took 2 hours. That took 2 hours to get there. Edmund is a quiet spirit. I get this quiet sort of sense of him. He's a very introspective character. He thinks about a lot of things. He observes a lot. He's a reader. He likes to take in the knowledge of others and assess it for what he thinks it is later. And I haven't gotten any type of bits of the love story between Edmund and Ada, although his chapter does end off on a kind of sort of a letter about how he's been gone for a very long time. I think he's been gone for 4 years, and how he feels like he couldn't ask her for something or another. I don't want to get too specific there and be specific the wrong way. I don't want to be loud and wrong. So that's the parts of him. And then of course, his chapter 1, which is like 25 pages long, ends off on him. And it took me 2 times to read it to realize that he's about to become a deserter, which newsflash, I already know the story. But it's quite different reading it. So let's read this last little paragraph here. Edmund rose. Hold on, let me catch my breath. Edmund rose and dressed in his new clothes. He added his Bertram scrolls to the knapsack. Then he strapped on his packs and went to the tall open window and looked out. It was the dark of the new moon. Ribbons of fog moved low on the ground, though the sky was clear overhead. He set his foot on the sill and stepped out of the window. So this is him basically about to start his journey back home to Ada, except we don't know anything about how he really feels about Ada. And then I've just gotten to Ada's chapter, which was after his. And I'm just gonna say that I really like her, the way she's written. She's described as a intellect, and this is at the hands of her father, Monroe. And he was also an intellectual sort of fellow. He enjoyed poetry, a lot of literature, and he made sure that Ada was raised to know all of the greats as far as literature and poetry is concerned. She knows how to play multiple instruments, and she can really handle herself well when it comes to like being in a more sophisticated setting. But she has and knows nothing about running a farm life in general, using her hands, sewing, nothing, which sucks because it's not specifically stated that her father, he didn't own a plantation and he did not have slaves. However, he did partake in the slave trade in a way where he would lease out slaves and they would work for him, but he would not directly pay them. He would have to pay, of course, the slave owner, the owner of the slaves. So he did participate, but he did not own his own slaves and he did not have a plantation. They are from another they're from Charleston, North Carolina, and then they moved, of course, up and closer to the mountains, which is why it's called Cold Mountain. And so now you know that this is a Civil War story. So as you can imagine, Ada has now been thrust into what is now like a deserted town. There's no men there to help her. She's by herself. Her father has passed away because they moved to where they were because of the fresh air. He didn't have tuberculosis. He had some sort of other consumption. You know, they say back in those days, people died of consumption, which was, of course, an issue with the lungs. And he did have an issue with the lungs, which is why they moved to where they were, which is another characteristic of tuberculosis in the whole Adirondacks type of situation. Back when I was talking about, what was that novel? Back when I was talking about Sylvia Plath the Bell Jar, we were talking about Buddy and how he was up in the Adirondacks, which is the mountains of upstate New York, to clear your air. Some sort of healing mechanism was up in the mountains to help you with your lungs and your breathing. And so that's why he moved to where he moved, and that's why you find Ada now alone by herself with 200 acres of land and a house and no one to help her. And so we end off on Ada's chapter with Ruby popping up out of the blue. And Ruby, of course, is a worker, and she's a feisty thing with lots of personality. And I think we're going to start the journey of Ada and Ruby's relationship. But of course, it's the POVs are split. So I'm assuming you're going to hear from Edmund, then Ada, then Edmund, then Ada. So I'm about to start reading about Edmund. Yeah, this is going to be Edmund's chapter, The Color of Despair. And I like the way the chapters are named. So it's not chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Chapter 1 is The Shadow of a Crow. Chapter 2, Ada's chapter, is The Ground Beneath Her Hands. And chapter 3 is called The Color of Despair. So I really, really like that. And before I go, I want to talk about some notes that I have here. So a couple of things. All right, so there's a lot of symbols regarding blackbirds and crows, a whole bunch of symbolism about that, and I can't help but think it's foreshadowing because, of course, like I've said, I've seen the movie before and I know what's going to happen. And there was tons of images of crows in the movie, but I really don't want to know exactly what that actually means and what Charles Frazier was saying in the novel. Also, there's a beautiful description of Esco and Sally's relationship. They didn't live too far from Monroe and Ada's house, and they're just described as having this romantic love, as if they were two people who were barren, and so all they had was themselves because they had no children. But they, in fact, did have children, but they still remain extremely close and devoted to one another in a way in which two people you might find that only have themselves and no one else to dote on. So I really like that. What else? Just more blackbirds and the companionship. And I really like the way that Charles Frazier wrote about Ada and her consideration on finding a partner. So let's go to what he says about her, what she says here. So he has here, there was therefore, as a result of such behavior, it became not an uncommon opinion among their acquaintances to think that Monroe had shaped her, Ada, into a type of monster, a creature not entirely fit for the society of men and women. There was therefore a little surprise, though considerable indignation, at Ada's response to 2 marriage proposals during her 19th year. She rejected them out of hand. explaining later that what she found lacking in her suitors was a certain altitude of thought, of feeling, of being. That and the fact that both men kept their hair shiny with pomatum as if to compensate in some visible way for their lack of sparkling wit. So, as you can imagine, she has really good characters, and she understands the type of sensibility a man needs to have in order to make her truly happy. She refused to even go back home to Charleston, being husbandless and fatherless and on her own, because she didn't want anyone looking at her and pitying her. And I just really love that. That's really rare to find a woman thinking like this around this time frame, because all of the movies that I've seen regarding how people acted and behaved, women acted and behaved who were Southern belles, was always about a man and how just being super boy crazy in a way that's just like ridiculous. So I love this about her, which is going to make her and Edmund's relationship so much more compelling once we get to those intricate details about how they truly feel about each other. Because like I said in the movie, for them to not have but a few scenes together towards the end of the movie, I was so engulfed in the letters that they were writing between one another, and how passionate they were for each other. So I can only imagine how I'm going to feel once I kind of get to those exchanges in the novel. So I'm really excited about that. And Ada's character reminds me of the Sense and Sensibility character. I forget her name because that's not one of my favorite books, but I like the movie. And it's Kate Winslet's character in Sense and Sensibility, and how passionate she was about Willoughby and just love in general, and poetry and writing and reading with such feeling, you know. I think that that's going to be kind of Ada in a way, because that's how Nicole Kidman was in the movie. So anyways, I'm just rambling on, but as you can tell, I really like this book. I'm gonna continue on with it, but if it's taking too long, y'all know I'm not abashed to wrap up the vlog and move on to another vlog and take this book into another vlog with me. But I'm gonna continue to read tonight, and then I'll give you guys an update tomorrow and see where we are. As far as the writing is concerned, breathtaking, stunning. I could just sit with the writing, to be quite honest with you, and just if this is Charles Frazier's writing, I will read anything that he puts pen to paper or finger to typewriter, because it's just gorgeous. Like I can't explain it. Like I said earlier, it's mesmerizing. It puts you in a trance. It's like a lullaby every page, but it's not extremely flowery. That's not what I mean by, that's not what I mean by mesmerizing. It's more or less just like, I just feel like I'm just laid up in a cloud, and God is just like calming his hand, running his fingers through my hair and reading me a story. If that's a good way of putting how this writing feels to me. It's extremely descriptive in all of the best ways to really get you or throw you into what is antebellum South. And that's just the best way to put it. And like I said, the antebellum South that I'm reading about was not my reality if I were put into that time period. So I do quite understand that I would have been on the other side of this and, you know, been in a cotton field, or you know what I'm saying. But it's still just so beautifully written and beautifully done. And I can still think about what my circumstances or what my ancestors' circumstances would have been, and still truly enjoy what Charles Frazier is doing in this novel, because at this particular point in my life, I do read with a critical lens when it comes to certain texts and narratives. And like I said, this is a Civil War novel. So in my reading of Edmund and Ada and all of the things that they're going to come up against in this novel, at the background, I'm still like cognizant of the fact that Edmund is a Confederate soldier who of course decides that he's going to leave the war because he's in love with Ada. But of course we've already had instances about his character as well, and how because he's from where he's from, he was made to do these things, and he does not believe in war. But he did fight in the war for 4 years on the Confederate side. So I have to think and consider that while I'm reading. But it's still just such beautiful writing that I'm willing to turn a blind eye at the same time. So if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'm going to unpack my groceries because I have not done that. I'm going to get out of these clothes. I'm going to get in some comfy clothes, come to the couch, and read some more. And I will update you guys when we come to some parts that are very pivotal. Y'all know how I like to do. Sometimes I ain't even gonna get far. If it's something worth talking about, I'm gonna come and we're gonna talk about it, okay? So yeah, I'll see you guys in a minute. All right. What is up, everybody? It's me back with another day for the reading vlog. So we are of course reading Cold Mountain. Got my little chunker right here. And I don't know what the last thing was that I actually said. I think I was just talking about the writing and how it's the Civil War and just all of the things that are leading up to what Edmund and Ada are dealing with. I think that's what it was. I do remember talking specifically about being able to appreciate what Charles Frazier is talking or saying about the times that we're in the book. I know that for a fact, like, you know, Edmund is a Confederate soldier. But I was talking about my placement within that time period also, but being able to still love what's going on. I think that's what I was saying. So fast forward, I am, I'm 161 pages in, and a lot of things have transpired. So as I've stated, as I've told you guys, Edmund is on the road. Edmund is on his way home. And we have a special guest in the back seat. I don't think I've shown Autumn on this channel. She's back there doing her thug thizzle. But anyway, I have my trusty Dusty here. So I'm driving and talking. Okay, so as we know, there's two POVs. You have Ada's chapter, Edmund's chapter, Ada's chapter, Edmund's chapter. So I will say I'm enjoying very much learning about Ada and her temperament. I really love her attitude towards life and how she has this good, better, best attitude about things. And she's not, even though she is described as this beautiful, clean hand Southern belle that has no wherewithal as it relates to running a farm, Ruby has come into the picture, and Ruby is like pulling up her bootstraps and making Ada tag along and making her learn and understand how things have to be now. But she's doing it. Ruby is a good supporting character. I really think that's the Oscar Renee Zellweger won, because that's what Ruby is in this story. Ruby is the best friend you never thought that you needed, and the cousin, the auntie, the sister, all wrapped up and jumbled up and bunched up into one. And she is really teaching Ada how to be self-sufficient in a way that, you know, someone who wants to see you succeed is doing. And I really, really enjoy their dynamic and all the things like that. And so what Ada brings to the dynamics are, you know, her wits and her smarts and her sophistication. You know, she's reading, there's consistently these references to the Odyssey in this story, which makes you understand that that's what this is in reference to. Ada is Penelope and Edmund is Odysseus, and there's more references to there's more references to the Odyssey than Dante's Inferno, but you can still relate both of those stories to this one text, just to get you an idea of what Charles Frazier has going on, you know, within the novel. And so she reads the Odyssey to her, and they talk about the Odyssey and the characters, and Ruby finds so many things like consistently funny throughout the story, and they talk about it, and then they move on, and then they do it all over again the next day. So I really, really like that. And the description of farm life and, you know, the green pastures, and just the way that Charles Frazier writes about land and landscape is really beautiful, you know, and it brings you to this whole other concept of the ideologies of different writers at that time period. So, you know, we're talking about 1860s. So the Civil War started in 1861, and of course you have Ada and Edmund within their chapters that they are reminiscing on things that have happened in the past. So we can bring Marcel Proust into this and talk about Swan's Way, or the whole collective, What's the Story? In Search of Lost Time. And it's just so funny because reading A Visit from the Goon Squad, that is like a direct parallel between what Marcel Proust was doing in that story. So that brings me back to the idea of authors and novels being one great big conversation. Basically, they all talk to each other throughout their writing, and I think the better you are at your craft, and the better books, the better quality of books that you read as a reader, you'll understand what I'm saying, because the writing is not like this anymore, you know. And I think that's why I'm completely obsessed with reading backlisted titles, because the writing was magnificent, and Charles Frazier really did his thing with this one. He did his big one, as the kids say now. And I don't know why I'm going off on this whole long tangent, but y'all get the picture. Y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all see what I'm saying. You understand. So I just said a mouthful. I really did, but I'm gonna keep going. So let's move on into Inman. Now Ada's chapters are more quiet and introspective and reflective. Inman's chapters, of course, are action-packed, but like slow-moving action because of the way that it's written, but you understand what some things are about to go down. So I don't know if I gave a good enough like description of Inman as a person, as a man. He is a badass for sure. He's like fuck around and find out. That's Inman, because on the surface I think he appears one way, and you can think about Jude Law. So of course, as I'm reading the story, all I can picture is Jude Law as Inman, which I think is great for me in my generation, because, you know, like I said, Cold Mountains is one of my favorite movies. I liked the movie, and I liked Inman in the movie, one, because he was like the really handsome Jude Law. So when you look at Jude Law on the surface, he's this pretty boy, right? This gorgeous, gorgeous man, but he had some demons, some inner torments. He could like take it there if he had to. So that's Inman's character. And so what has happened since the last time I talked to you guys is, you know, so many things. Like, he ran into this girl, and just like, you know, like on the Odyssey, Odysseus meets so many different people, so many different characters along the way. So Inman has come across this little girl. She took him across Cape Fear, and they got shot at Cape Fear. They had to duck off the boat, swim across the rest of the way. He had to give her more than what the boat's supposed to been for. He gave her $20 instead of $5. You know, just like, you know, all the hustle and bustle of trying to make your way back home. And then after that little incident, he runs into VZ. VZ is going to be a consistent character throughout the story. VZ is a pastor, a preacher, who how he came across VZ was he heard a man crying, and he had a woman in his arms. So when he walks up to him and he understands, like, he be already ready. Inman is already ready for the bullshit, okay? He be ready to take out his pistol or ready to take out his knife, because you just never know what's going on. Because of course you have to remember, he's a man on the run. You know, he is a deserter. So deserters get hung, you know, killed on sight, on the spot, you know, so he has to be ready. So he finds out that VZ done gave this woman some laudanum, which of course you know is like an opioid back in those times, knocked her clean out, and he was about to throw her in the river and drown her because she is pregnant with his child. And she's a young girl too. And the reason why he's gonna do that is because two things: he's a pastor and he's betrothed to someone else. And just praying, you know how ridiculous, if you saw the movie, you know how ridiculous VZ is. He's a very ridiculous character. And I think his character was, I forgot that man's name, but he was an amazing actor. He actually passed away some years back. I think he committed suicide. Let's see. But if you've seen the movie, you know who I'm talking about. What's his name? Philip Seymour Hoffman. He ain't even popped up yet, but I think that's his name. He hadn't popped up yet, but that's his name. Philip Seymour Hoffman played VZ in the movie. He's a very ridiculous character. And so anyway, Jude intervened, knocked him up the side of the head with the pistol, put the girl on the horse, and, you know, made sure that she made it back safely to where she needed to go. And then he wrote a note saying who this man was and what he had tried to do. And then he was back on his way again. Only for a couple of days later, they bump into each other again because, of course, VZ done got beat up because of the letter. So now they're on the stroll together. They're on their way back to Cold Mountain together, and so many other things ensue as they're on this journey. And you could only imagine all of the things that they've gone into. I'm not going to go into deep detail, but there is one thing that I do have to mention, and then I'm going to be done right now with my update. There is one thing that I have to mention. I have to talk to y'all about Tilde, and I have to talk to you guys about how Charles is writing the black characters. I know that, you listen, a true writer is able to depict the times vividly, and that is exactly what Charles Frazier done. I'm not looking at it from a cruel lens or from a prejudice lens. I think he did a great job, but he did describe Tilde too damn good, and that's what I really wanted to discuss. Because hey, guess what, I'm a black woman at the end of the day, and I have to give my perspective about my people and how they are written. So let's talk about it. Oh girl, and we gotta talk about Odell and Lucinda. Odell was a slaver, Lucinda was a slave. Think about Lupinta and 12 Years a Slave, except Lupinta didn't like him. But think about how that man was obsessed with Lupinta's character in there. He was obsessed with her. I mean, I'm talking about obsessed with her. So that's Odell, except Lucinda liked him back. My goodness. So anyway, but Tilde comes first. I'm gonna have to get somewhere situated and still. As you guys can see, first of all, I haven't even told you what the day is. Today is actually Monday, January 22nd. We're out of school still because the streets are not like the best, but they're getting there. They are getting there. Why is it raining?
It's probably gonna ice again now.
Oh, you would love that, wouldn't you? So Tilde is actually a barmaid that they come across, you know, on their journey. And I'm going to read to you guys how he described Tilde. Okay, page 126. Let's talk about Tilde. And the crows, let me tell you something. The crows are consistently throughout this novel. Ready? Are y'all ready? In a minute, a black whore as big as a big man came in from a back room. She carried a bottle in one hand, in the other 5 shot glasses. Her thick fingers down in them. Inman could see the red handle of a straight razor thrust into the tangle of hair above her right ear. She wore a leather apron about her stout waist, and her butternut dress was cut low and partially unbuttoned to display a vast bosom. When she passed, Before the little fire, every man in the room turned his head to see the outline of her splendid thighs through that thin dress. The dress skirt fell short of a full coverage, and so her hard muscle calves were on complete display. She went barefooted, her feet muddy. Her skin was black as a stove lid, and she was fine looking, at least to any man of whom such grand scale had appeal. She paced about the room pouring drinks, and then came to Inman's table. She set down 2 glasses and filled them, and then pulled up a chair and sat legs open, skirt hiked. You see what I'm saying? And you already know, because of the type of man that VZ is, he delighted in even knowing her. So let's fast forward that chapter, and let me read to you guys about VZ Tale and what he decided to do. So basically, he spent the night with Tildy. Here he is. Here's Inman. Well, I hope the night was worth it. And this is VZ talking. Fully, the fascinations of, he had got cut on the side of his face. That's how wild she was with that razor that they talked about. He said, fully, the fascinations of depraved and unchaste women have been proverbial, and I admit I am a man overly charmed by the peculiarities of the female anatomy. Last night, when she drew off that big shift of hers and stood before me, I was sore amazed, stunned, in fact. It was a sight to mark down for the remembrance in old age, to cheer a mind otherwise falling to the despound. Let me tell you something. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. You can deny it all you want to, but there is nothing like a beautiful brown skinned or dark skinned black woman. There is nothing like it in all of the world. And I want to tell you, when I first came across that passage and I read it like Charles must have him a little thing for, for the other side. Because of how he wrote it. He really truly understood the assignment. You better write her like that. But it's still parts where it's like hard to read because she was a whore. But I do appreciate the fact that, he made her a whore instead of making her a slave. You know what I mean? I just didn't, it made her have a choice in the matter. So I really like the way that he is writing this book, or the way that he wrote this book, to where, all whores have a choice. It's their choice to do that thing that they do. It's their choice. So I really liked that. And I really liked how Tildy sounded. Honestly and truthfully, I liked it. I didn't cringe not one bit at reading it, but I did write in the margins that I didn't know how to feel at first. But being as though that was last night and this is today, I feel fine. I feel great. I feel good about it. I really do. So then moving on, and then I'm done. Let's talk about Odell and Lucinda's little chapter. Inman meets this guy, of course, on the road, named Odell, and Odell automatically tells him, I'm supposed to own all this land. I have so much money. I come from money. I'm a rich man. And then, of course, Inman, being who he is, he's like, well, what happened? Because right now I can't tell, that you're all these things that you say you are. And then we go into the story of Odell and how he loved a slave. He fell in love. He got married, and then his dad bought a slave. And it was Lucinda. And he said that Lucinda was the most beautiful thing he'd ever saw. And he was so respectful of her, even though his family owned her. His dad even tried to tell him, like, just, get it over with. Take her to one of the, like, many different places on the plantation and just get it over with. And he even told his dad, I don't want to do that, Daddy. I love her. And then his daddy laughed at him and was like, I raised a fool, basically. Just thinking that his son is full of BS, right? The only thing is, like, it's still cringe to read about. You know, it's very, very cringe to read about. But he found out that, you know, at one particular point, especially towards the Civil War, slaves used to be able to leave the plantation for anything, and just, you were supposed to be trusted to come back. You know what I mean? But they would let slaves pretty much do anything. So Lucinda was sent on some type of route to, like, make exchanges or whatever, and so he plotted to make sure that he was able to go with her. And guess what this man said that he was doing while he was gone trying to find Lucinda? Odell said that he was gone coon hunting. If you don't know anything about coon hunting is when you go and round up the slaves that have run away. That's what you do. That's what coon hunting is. You round up the slaves that have run away. So I just didn't like that, because at the expense of possibly killing other black people, you went I'm not framing this accurately, but he went to spy on and retrieve and be able to steal moments with a slave at the expense of killing other slaves, because as he comes back home, he's not supposed to come home empty-handed. He's supposed to come home with coons, dead or alive. But they would mostly be dead, because what Odell would do is, to make sure that he didn't come home empty-handed, he would pay other people for the slaves that they've rounded up to take home to his dad. And they would probably burn them. It's really tragic. It's really weird talking about, right? It's really cringe talking about. But that's why I had to mention, like, that part of the story. And then, you know, he was, of course, very much in love with Lucinda, got her pregnant, and his dad sold her. So he took all of the money that was available in the house, all his mother's finest jewelry, and left, never to return again. He went down to Mississippi. He sold Lucinda to a plantation in Mississippi. And if you know anything about Mississippi, plantations were the harshest plantations in the South. If you got sent down to Mississippi, you probably wouldn't make it a year or two, because of what you were used to in the other states. The other states were deemed more befitting for softer types of women, if that makes any sense, or more how do I say, more fair. Okay, the anything but Mississippi, you were more fair, or you were quote unquote good to your slaves, but you could never be good to a human being that you claim to own. It's inhumane in general. So anyway, that's that part. I just really want to express and tell you guys the story of freaking Tildy, of course, and VZ, and Odell and Lucinda. Had to talk about it. And now we've actually made it to our destination. So I'm going to go in here and read for a little while and enjoy some time with my kiddo and just be outside of the house, because like you guys know, we've been in the house. So I'll see you guys in there, but I probably won't have anything else to say. It'll just be montagey. All right, bye.
Your heart, keep it in your pocket for safekeeping. Don't ever let nobody be the reason you throw it out, you stop caring about it. Don't let your head get in the way, can't be defined by your mistakes. You know you try and you try really hard, but sometimes you fall. Yeah, sometimes you fall. Sensitive, but I can sense if it's right for me. times you fall.
Hey y'all, just made it home. I'm tired. I'm kind of tired. Anyway, I thought I'd do a little book haul before I made some chili. Me and Autumn just came from Bird Books. Well, we just came from, first of all, she went to the dentist today. Then we went to City Silo. Then where you saw us, we were in the car talking about Cold Mountain, and then we went to the cafe. So now we're home. Well, then we went to Bert's Books, and now we're home. So I just wanted to show you guys some books that I just picked up on a whim. I know I could have ordered them somewhere else, but like I said, I do support my local independent bookshop sometimes. So I just spent $90 on 4 books. That's how expensive books is getting. Autumn got this gigantic manga. Autumn, bring me that manga so I can show the vlog. All right, so Autumn got No Use Escaping Tommy by Junji Ito. I think I got it right, Junji Ito. And it says, murdered again and again, one girl always comes back for more. So she's enjoying it. We just got this, and she's on page 44. Oh, and here's your what's the name, your bookmark. So yeah, that cost the most. I'm sure you guys know. It was $35. Anyway, so I decided to go ahead and do Butcher's Crossing by John Williams. Stoner was my 3rd favorite book last year, so of course we have to be a completionist, so we're gonna read Butcher's Crossing sometime this year. And then they had Don't Look at Me Like That by Diana Athill. Now I had this book in my Amazon wish list, so the fact that they had it in there, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and purchase this. And it just looked like a very interesting cover, and I liked the synopsis about it, so I'll read it to you guys. Excuse me. Whew. All right. When I was at school, I used to think that everyone disliked me, and it wasn't far from true, confesses Meg Bailey at the start of Don't Look at Me Like That. Coming of age in the mid-1940s, Meg finds herself to be out of place wherever she finds herself. She is a non-believer in her father's parsonage, an artistic dreamer at her stuffy boarding school, provincial in the worldly circles frequented by her best friend Roxanne and Dick, Roxanne's future husband. It is only when Meg, newly graduated from art school, moves into a untidy London rooming house alive with the sounds of crying children, sparing lovers, and even foreigners, that she begins to feel at home. But ties to the past are not easily severed, and Meg must disentangle herself from her troubled intimacy with Roxanne and Dick before she can begin to start living in her own way. Cool. Don't Look at Me Like That is the only novel by the famed memoirist and editor Diana Athill, who died in 2019 at the age of 101. Wow. At once clear-eyed and compassionate, it is a story of making mistakes and making a life. Very cool. Very cool. I'm excited. Don't Look at Me Like That. And then we got The Vulnerables by Miss Sigrid Nunez, which y'all know that one of my favorite books of the year, if you watched it, was one of my favorite books of the year by Miss Sigrid Nunez is What Are You Going Through? So they didn't have The Friend, but they did have The Vulnerables. So we got The Vulnerables, which is a new release, and it was half off. That's definitely why I got it. I don't even know what this is about. It's secret. So Elegy plus comedy is the only way to express how we live in the world today, says a character in Sigrid Nunez's ninth novel, The Vulnerables. Offers a meditation on our contemporary era as a solitary female narrator asks what it means to be alive at this complex moment in history and considers how our present reality affects the way a person looks back at her past. Humor, to be sure, is a priceless refuge. Equally vital is connection with others, who here include an adrift member of Gen Z and a spirited parrot named Eureka. The Vulnerables reveals what happens when strangers are willing to open their hearts to each other and how far even small acts of caring can go to ease another's distress. A search for understanding about how the most critical matters of our time. Nunez's new novel is also an inquiry into the nature and purpose of writing itself. Love it, love it, love it. I know it's gonna be amazing. So yeah, I'm excited for these. Now I'm gonna cook some chili and I'll be back with an update on Cold Mountain. I'm really tired, y'all. I think I'm suffering from insomnia. I'm literally tossing and turning all night. Now I know it's probably due to my coffee intake and the fact that I've been taking naps during the day, but I don't know. I need to figure something out. I'm gonna try to stay up today in hopes that I go to bed at the appropriate time this evening. But I'm definitely not sleeping at night. I stayed up to 3 o'clock reading Cold Mountain and thought that I was going to bed, but the whole time I was just tossing and turning. So I have had no rest since my nap yesterday. So we're gonna try to power through the day and go to sleep at like 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, hopefully. Plus I'm waiting on a message to see if I have to go to work tomorrow because the ice is melting, but however, the streets are still kind of messy. So I don't even know if I have to go to work tomorrow, which I'm hoping that I don't. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys once I have another update. And yeah, all right. Good morning. Good morning. I'm just here, about to put on my shoes. It's a cold one. It's a cold and wet one today, so we're gonna put on the wellies. Why am I talking like this? So I have my insole socks that I'm gonna throw on here. Got my big pants on today. All right, that's that. We have our work OOTD today. So shirt, anthropology, pants. I got these from Urban a couple of years ago, or no, actually last year, 1 year ago. And then of course, you guys, you just saw I have on the Hunter Wellingtons for the rainy day. And yeah, man, that's it. That's what we have going on today. That's what we're doing. And this is a coat because y'all might not see me. So let me just put my coat on and show you guys. But all in all, I think I look really cute. Cabela, and I have my sweater. It's just the right coat to have like a light jacket on, and layer it with a sweater underneath. So I thought I'd do this sweater. Hold on. I thought I'd do this sweater here. See? Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? Isn't it cute? So yeah, it's hot though. Ooh, jeez. Yeah, I'm quite literally, I'm quite literally wrapping it up. Today is Tuesday, January 23rd. Obviously, we're not off work today. Have to go in. The snow is all melted and stuff, and now it's like super rainy. And yeah, it's 6:35 a.m. by the way, just for a time reference, so you guys can see like how early I have to get my ass up. Autumn is getting ready for school, and yeah, so I'm gonna pack my lunch. I made chili yesterday, ended up being really, really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my lunch together, and then we'll talk about Little Miss Cold Mountain. We'll talk about Little Miss Cold Mountain later. I absolutely adore this book. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing like having straight bangers back to back. Like, I'm just so proud. Currently on A Vow to Bear. Or no, I read A Vow to Bear. Currently on, A Vow to Bear. No, I haven't. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Let me just get myself situated here. I'm actually like making good time. I'm awake. I'm thriving. I'm excited. I got a little bit of rest last night, more than I've been getting, and I'm very happy about it. But I did wake up at 3:40 a.m., which is fine because I went to bed at like 10:30. I really wanted to go to bed at 8 o'clock, but it wasn't happening. But I did lay in the dark with my eyes closed, and then I was just like, you know what? Forget this. I need to just like read my book. So I read my book for some, and then that's why I got a little bit far, because I utilized that time trying to fall asleep. And then also when I woke up at 3:40, I read some more. So I'm utilizing my time, my time that I can't sleep with, and I'm reading instead. So yeah, anyways, let me just get myself ready and I'll talk to y'all later. All right. And just like that, we're at the schoolhouse. Guys, I am so tired. Do I have bags under my eyes? Just a little bit. A little bit. I'm gonna get some good sleep tonight though, because I'm back to a routine. I think that's what the issue is. I've just been completely off of my game as far as a routine is concerned. So it's just being able to just do what I want for another week. It's been cray-cray. But yeah, so Cold Mountain. So I'm on Not in Grief. I'm on page 282 of Cold Mountain, and yeah, I'm almost done. And I just want to tell you guys, leading up to what is now, what? You know that I do this. I have to get this out the way before everybody start coming, okay? Autumn's staring at me, making me uncomfortable. But anyway, I have to do it like this because I have the dust jacket off of it. But leading up to, because I know what's coming, it's just really like heart-wrenching, basically. Where we are in the story now is Edmund has finally sees Cold Mountain, so he knows that he's not far away from Ada. And he experienced so much hardship over the last few chapters as well, that it's just like, I think if he wasn't as close as he was to Cold Mountain, he probably would just crash and burn, because he's just been through so much strife. He's had to kill soldiers because he came across this young lady named Sarah and her newborn baby, and how her husband has gotten killed in the war, and she's just a tiny old thing, and he felt the need to help her out. Soldiers came, Federals, which are the Yankees, came in and just took all of her, took everything, took enough for her to basically, her and her daughter will probably die from starvation. And what I wanted to touch on more specifically is the homage that I feel like Charles Frazier is paying to the people of the land who were there before, you know, the fair skin. And he continuously speaks throughout the novel, it radiates throughout the novel that, you know, about how slaves were taken. You know what I mean? it's something that he speaks on, but not explicitly. And he talks of Native people, Native Americans, and all other sorts of types of people who know the land and speak to the land and vibrate, and it permeates through them. He speaks about it in such a way where it's like, you know, this man is not here to erase history. You know, he's here to more so embed it in what it is now. Embed the history that was before into what it is turning into now. And also the way that he writes about war and how, you know, of course the Civil War was more about politics. It wasn't actually about freeing the slaves. So he definitely speaks on how neither side is a good side, but the side that's fighting for the freedom is the better side. But the people that's fighting on both sides are far in between, like, the best of those. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they're not good. They're not good. The Federals and the Confederates, both just as grimy of a people, basically. And I can appreciate his stance on the matter. And just as far as the story is concerned, of course, everyone probably is going to say, if you read the book, that Inman's chapters are the most compelling, for sure. I really like Ada's musings and everything like that, you know, just her daily goings-ons. But Inman's chapters are really great. Now, I will tell you this. The parts, the memory, the nuances on Inman and Ada before Inman went off to war are so sweet. They're so sweet and so innocent, just like the movie. So I'm just trying to figure out why people said the movie was just so bad, because each piece that was most important in the novel, it was executed very well to me in the movie, now that I've read the novel. But there's not a true romantic sense going on throughout the pages, if you know what I mean. Like, there isn't any, like, Inman isn't musing over Ada in a way that's like lustful and, like, you know, it's more or less just like I need to get home to my girl, but he's not really speaking about her at all. And there's actually not a lot of letters between them like I thought it would be also. So that's why I think it's more like anticipation for when they're going to see each other. I'm just excited now to see when Ada sees Inman and, like, read what that scene is going to be. Like, I'm really interested to read about it, because I remember it in the movie, but I think to read it is going to be even better, because to know what's going to happen next is really, like, sad. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be okay, Diamond. Diamond, you're going to be okay. I just feel like I look tired, but it's okay. What I plan on doing is getting some sleep aids tonight. I'm going to get me some melatonin in my ashwagandha, and I'm going to get some good rest tonight. I just really feel like I look tired. But yeah, those are just my updates. I'm most definitely going to wrap this book up today, and we'll end this vlog today. And we have about 6 days until Black History Month, so I think I can get one more book in for this month. And it's not gonna be Assassin's Apprentice. It's gonna be something else. But yeah, I think I'll be able to get one more book in. And then, yeah. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's the last day of the reading vlog, and I just want to come and show my outfit. I think it's so cute. So cute. So I have to give you guys the last or final update of Cold Mountain. I'm going to do it while I'm at work, because I'm going to be able to get to work a little early today, just like yesterday. And I'll be able to sit and talk to you guys. Yeah. So anywho's. Yeah. Okay, so. Cold Mountain. Guess I can take this out now. Cold Mountain. Cold Mountain. Smells good. This book was excellent. Phenomenal. To end the vlog, I just have to end off by saying that Charles Frazier understood the assignment. He definitely understood the assignment. So let's just start with the final few chapters. So starting with, okay, I'm back. And I want to have some discussion. So I remember the last thing that I was saying about Cold Mountain was, we were talking about the slaver falling in love with the slave. Odell, I gave you guys the Odell and Lucinda story. And we were talking about Ruby. No. Inman. Ooh, I said so much in the car. I don't know. But anyway, I know I was talking about how this story is akin to the Odyssey as well as Dante's Inferno, but I would more lean towards the Odyssey in the epic aspect of him coming across so many different characters on his way home. And yeah, Inman, the story is just so good. The writing is probably what really captured the moment for me the most. And I remember telling you guys early on that I seen the movie. I watched the movie, so I knew what was going to happen at the end. I'm not going to talk about the ending because I do think it will spoil it. But just know that at the beginning of this vlog, I kept on telling you guys that Charles Frazier continuously mentions crows, and I'm like, what's the meaning of crows? And all along I already knew what the meaning of crows was, but I always have to do a little bit of research. So here, all in all, crows represent death, danger, misfortune, and illness, but also on the flip side, rebirth, self-reflection, intelligence, and loyalty. So it's a two-sided coin, and take what the whole situation with the crows is and apply all of that to Inman's character as a person and what he goes through in the story, and then it'll make for just a complete masterpiece. It's a complete masterpiece. I'm so glad that I read it. I'm so glad that I made my video saying that I was going to read it, and I'm so I feel a little bit different from reading it. I'll say that. It's definitely a book that is underrated, and a lot of people don't read it, but you have to think about it. It was written in 1997, you know. So many books are gonna be not read when they're supposed to be, but saving them for times like this or coming across them because of quality recommendations is why I ended up picking it up. And good morning, partner. Do you feel better today? Yeah. All right, but anyway, back to Cold Mountain. Yeah, it was just so good. Anywho, I'm going to have to simmer on my thoughts about it. If I have anything else that I want to add, I'll add it. Oh yeah, I do. I want to talk about real quick, and then we can end the vlog. I want to talk about the ending, and how. So remember, I said each narrative, each chapter is from the perspective of either Ada or Inman. So you have Ada talking, Inman. When you get to the last 3 or 4 chapters, they start to merge into one, and I thought that was really cool. Also, because you started to realize that Inman was on his way home. He almost made it. He was making his way home. He was up at the mountain. He even made it home. He made it to Black Cove, and guess what? Ada and Ruby was gone. They had to go up to the mountain because Ruby's daddy got shot up. So because Ruby's daddy got shot up, they had to go find him and bury him. I done told too much of the story. That was one of my favorite parts. And then, I don't know, it's just so many things I could say that I don't want to say. But understand that the glow that I have on my face is partially because I got some good sleep last night, and the other half is definitely because this was an amazing read. So I'm so glad I read it. I recommend it highly to you. I think you should read it for all of its aspects, for it being a historical fiction about the Civil War, for it being a perspective on a Confederate soldier, for it being perspective on how soldiers view slaves, the backcountry lands, all of that history and stuff. It just made for a good novel. So yeah, that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm about to go ahead and start the next one, and you just have to tune in to see what we're going to be reading. Okay, I'm done with this video. I'm finished. Finito.